Welcome back, SethBling here. We just hit at 360 cards in my custom Mario-themed Magic the Gathering draft cube. If you don't know what this project's all about, go check out the first video in the series. I put a link in the video description. We're going to be drafting the set today, and then I'll play a couple games with whatever deck I do draft. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by looking at what the cards that I think are the most powerful first picks are, and talking about those. A draft is a way of building a deck. You open packs and draft cards out of them, and you build a deck. You'll get 45 cards, but you only need to place a subset of those. You can add as many basic lands as you want to the deck, and you need at least 40 cards in the deck. Starship Mario is a very good first pick. I think it's only one color as opposed to a lot of these like gold cards. And I think it's a little bit open. Like you can be in vehicles, you can be in like a blue-white blink deck. It's also 2 creature types for like an architect deck. Koopa Airship is a nice card that I don't think I've had a chance to play in any of my decks. Star World is also a nice architect card that I haven't had a chance to play, and it looks pretty fun to try and get down. Rainbow Road is a very flexible card. You can it adds 1 mana of any color if you have at least 4 lands, and I also think that's maybe worth considering as first picking. Not sure I would take really many of these other cards first pick. I think for me it's between Rainbow Road and Starship Mario, and I haven't had a chance to try it. There's like a Starship Mario changed at some point. So it's a 3/3 flying vehicle that makes 2/2/2 creatures and has crew 4. So it makes the 2/2s that you need in order to crew it, but it's only a 3/3 flyer if you do. So you actually end up losing a power on that. But like making 2/2/2s and being able to blink that for another 2/2/2s is like one of the best blink things in the set. So I want to try that out. And we'll see where we go from here. Maybe there'll be some cool cards to go with it. Maybe there won't. Tiny Galaxy would be good fixing for that blink archetype I was talking about. There's some other really powerful cards in here. Super Hammer actually looks pretty appealing with Starship Mario. So Super Hammer is an aura, gives a creature +2/+2 in vigilance, and lets you return an artifact from the graveyard to the battlefield by sort of paying its mana cost. Let's see. Hungry Luma is just a nice, efficient creature, 3/1 flyer for 3 that can hose down Spook and Spawn decks that have cards in exile. Helen Gravely is a nice sacrifice theme card. And yeah, Ghost Story is a very good like Spook card. Borden Koopa, generally just a powerful card. Destroys a creature for 5 mana, and you get a 3/3 and as Spawn. Super Hammer does look really fun. And like a vehicles deck with Super Hammer does sound quite nice. Like I've got a really nice card to return already, and I haven't really had a chance to try out Super Hammer in this kind of deck. Hungry Luma is also just like a raw powerful card, but I want to try this Super Hammer thing. I don't really know for sure that it works, but that's what playtesting is all about, trying to find the cool combos. So yeah, if my Starship Mario does die, then I can maybe put Super Hammer on one of my 2/2s that it made, and then have it return Starship Mario and make another 2/2/2s. And my, at that point, that fungus will also be a 4/4. So looks fun to me. All right, what do we got here? So Cosmic Clone's a really fun card with a bunch of Spook and Spawn cards, but I'm not really there with the cards that I've taken so far. Core Spot is an architect card. It's in all 3 architect colors, and it's a strong one. I could definitely be playing green, white, blue with the start that I have so far. Roy Koopa is a red, green aggro card. It doesn't match the cards that I have so far very well, so I'm probably not going to take it. But yeah, none of these cards are really that good given the cards that I have so far, I think. I could take All That Glitters and try and move in more towards like a super type deck. I think that could actually work out fine with the cards that I have. And there's like Birdo as a super card. Vanish Cap is a blue-white card that does let you kind of hose an opposing creature. And Ice Power also lets you do some cool things with crewing. Ice Power is kind of interesting, but it's low powered compared to some of these things like Vanish Cap and All That Glitters. Oh man, I'm not really sure. I think I'm gonna try All That Glitters because I've got an aura already, and I could end up with some interesting hybrid. Like Justice Toad is a pretty reasonable like super pickup here. And I'm staying mono white so far, which is interesting. What are some powerful cards? Read the Blueprint is a powerful card, and that would have been good if I had gone with Core Spot. I mean, it still might be good. It gets an artifact and then like gets basically the more card types you have in your deck, the more cards this draws. And so if I have an enchantment and an artifact already, this could draw me a lot of cards at once. Big Bertha, again, a sweet architect card. Freezy is just like a removal spell on a creature. There's a lot of good blue cards here. And then I could just go for the Justice Toad and try and move in on that super type deck. I'm like kind of interested in doing that, but I think there's some pretty powerful blue cards. So I'm not sure if I want to be like cutting white that hard or not. Like Freezy is just like, yeah. I'm gonna take Justice Toad. Let's see if I can get into this. I don't really know. This is a little bit flexible right now. So far, I do have like things to make architect. This is artifact and a creature. This is, I have 2 enchantments. This is another creature. Oh, Bounty Board's a sweet one. I could maybe be in for some green-white treasure shenanigans. And then there's Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which, can I just build mono-white super? Is that a possibility here? Gourmet Guy is also a sweet card. This is a Reclamation Sage, but it's in white. Bounty Board I did change a little bit, by the way. It's like a landfall trigger for the treasure tokens. I'm kind of interested in just like seeing if I can stay mono white or just seeing how long that lasts. I mean, Rolladillo Cloak is a really strong card too, though. But I'm interested in this Captain Toad. I think it's a sweet card. I don't know what's going on with this deck so far, but I kind of like it. This is kind of blowing my mind right now that this is happening, because I definitely didn't plan for like mono colored decks to be viable in this format. So I doubt I'm going to end up staying mono white, but I can kind of have some flexibility as to whether I want to go to green or blue. Like a Blink theme does kind of make sense with Captain Toad and Starship Mario, but then Treasures also makes some sense. So Brick and Mortar is a perfectly reasonable green-white card. Chivarian Racer, 2-drop 3/1, is also very aggressive. Can be aggressive, which would match what I've got going on so far. Bonus Game can be really nice card draw, especially in an Architect deck, but even just in a deck with some enchantments and some creatures. Like, this card makes 2 creatures, and I just need 1 more to draw 2 cards off of Bonus Game for 1 mana, which is pretty nice. I think I'm gonna just like I am really curious where this is going, but I'm gonna try and stay mono white for now. Blink doesn't work with... Oh, that's true. Yeah, Blink doesn't work with Captain Toad. Because Captain Toad enters the battlefield. When Captain Toad enters the battlefield, if you cast him, you get to choose one of those things. All right, so here we don't have any clear like white cards. Actually, Shroom Grocery. Hold on. What does this do? Kind of nothing. Sacrifice an enchantment or 2 treasures to return an enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, it kind of doesn't do anything with the enchantments that I have so far. Whereas PD Piranha is a pretty sweet looking card, and I think fits this deck really well. Like I've got like kind of a mid-rangey type thing going on here. All that glitters could be really nice with PD Piranha, make a big creature that can fight. Yeah, so PD Piranha has 3 hits, so he comes in with 3 +1/+1 counters, and if he would take damage, instead you remove a +1/+1 counter. I've heard Tuxie can be good in this kind of deck, but there is some interesting opportunity. Wow. There's 3 red auras in this pack, and Bonetail is still in this pack too. I'm always surprised by how late this card goes around. I think this card is awesome. Superhorn is a white card. A Tuxie is a white card. I think I do want to, like, the signals look like green-white is kind of where I want to be. And like, I don't have any fixing, and I have a couple of double white cards that I do really want to be playing. So Tuxie like lets me maybe make good use of what I've got going on so far. It's a nice 1-drop that can curve into some nice things. I think I'm gonna keep trying to cut white and stay maybe a green-white. I guess Blink works kind of well with PD Piranha. Not that I'm not really thinking of going into Blink too heavily now, because like it's gonna be hard for me to play 3 colors with what I have so far. We'll see. And it also doesn't look like there's that many blue cards coming around. Pickeroo Toad is nice with Starship Mario, but I'm not sure the rest of the deck can really support it. Whereas 3 balloons is pretty sweet. I haven't had a chance to play this card yet, but I think it could be really good. Traffic Lakitu could also give me a way to return Starship Mario to my hand, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be too much into vehicles as a green-white deck. So 3 balloons does kind of fit the bill. 3 balloons giving 3 extra hits to PD Piranha. Seems sweet. Yeah, this is a really weird looking draft pool so far. I've never gone this long basically drafting a monocolored deck, but I'm like curious to see how this will pan out. Mono white. Is it possible? Yeah, all the glitters, enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. So that does, if I just make a treasure token of Captain Toad, that'll power up whatever. Hungry Luma came around. No one else is in white. This card, I was thinking of picking this card the first time around. Wow. I might end up mono white if all these sweet mono white cards keep coming around like this. Just never have color issues. Hungry Luma's nice. It's a good card. Yeah. I'm just like really surprised at what's going on here. I didn't plan at all for this to be an archetype that one would want to draft. So yeah, very pleasant surprise. This is the sort of thing that's been creeping up now and then. Just like very pleasant surprises of things that I didn't really plan for the deck or for the draft to include, but it's going well. All right, so I only have 1 treasure producer right now, and it would rather get back an aura. So I don't know if Mystery Block is great here. Tanuki Suit could be pretty reasonable though, giving a creature +1/+1 and flying. I haven't had too much of a chance to play it. Plus it protects the creature, so I can put it on something like Shivarian Racer and like make it a little bit resilient to removal. I think that's probably better than Ice Power right now, but maybe not. They're both kind of evasion, Tanuki Suit and Ice Power. But I'm interested in trying out Tanuki Suit. It's pretty good on something like Captain Toad or Justice Toad. I think this is a deck where Trophy Ceremony is actually pretty good too, which I haven't really wanted to play this card very much, so it's like also pretty pleasant to see that. Oh my god, what's going on here? Could it be? Could it be? Yeah, this is really exciting to me. I was planning on like drafting a cool like, you know, 3-color deck or whatever and showing you guys all the cool like 3-color decks that there could be, but this is really interesting to me. I did play against somebody with a mono red deck once, and that was interesting. And it like looked like it worked pretty well. I'm not likely to take any or play. Well, I'm not likely to play Boom Boom. Parrowing, I don't think I'm very likely to play. I'm just not really going to end up with vehicles being a theme. Dinosaur Land could let me splash something sweet like Super Mario though. So, yeah, we'll see. I really, if I can make mono white work, that would just be pretty cool. I don't know. I'd be pretty happy about that. Dr. Mario would be a great pickup here. I think Dr. Mario is very likely to make it to Meal if it hasn't already been picked by somebody yet. Brick and Mortar could be main deckable. Might end up playing green. Like PD Piranha is a card I want to test. It is true that I believe this. There are more like cards that are playable, like cards that can be played in mono white than in any other color in this cube. I think that's true. Womp could go in my mono white deck. Womp's a 1/4 for 2. Yeah, interesting. This is an interesting deck so far. If I saw Rosalina, I would play that. I think that fits well in this deck. I can actually defend her pretty well. Yeah, I would play Black, Count Black. So there's that Super Mario I was talking about. Maybe even better than Super Mario is this Geno, though. Huh. So that I can splash off of this red. There's unfortunately just no mono white cards here. 0 mono white cards. Toad's House is a sweet card. I'm not really in a wide enough strategy where this is insane, and there is some risk to playing this given that I might not be able to hit Architect in every game. I'm not like playing that critical mass of enchantments necessarily. I think Super Mario is better than Geno if I'm like a little bit light on enchantments, which I might be. Whereas Super Mario just kind of like protects himself as a 5/5 hasty with kind of pseudo persist. Goomboss can also be a reasonable pickup here. I can spawn him, and then even if I don't have green, I can still like I can still spawn him, and then I can maybe wait to get green, so I can still get some value. I think that's maybe a safer pick than Super Mario. But Super Mario does seem really sweet. I kind of like want this Toad House too, though. I'm gonna take Goomboss, I think. Like, there's like a big chance I take Super Mario and just never have the mana to cast him. Geno really needs you to have a lot of auras, more so than Super Mario, so that's why I didn't pick him there. Yeah, again, no white cards. The mono white dream is dying fast. But there are some other sweet cards here. Big World, don't have that many minions, so Big World I'm not sure is gonna make it. Goomba is a okay one drop, though. I might not be that heavy in green, and so like trying to play my one drop on turn 1 might be a little ambitious. There is some fixing here if I do want to try and go more towards that 3-color direction. Green Yoshi is, I think, a pretty good pickup. It's like the 3/3 for 3 is fine, and then a Bestow is also pretty good. Can let me, get value out of Justice Toad or Captain Toad. Although Captain Toad can't return Green Yoshi from your graveyard to your hand, because it's not an aura while it's in your graveyard. Strength in numbers would also be a fine combat trick. And then there's Aim High, it's just another combat trick. Then there's Power Mushroom. I think Green Yoshi's going to be my pickup here. See some people in my chat talking about Geno. Geno no longer has haste. So he's just a 4/4 for 4 if you don't have any enchantments, which is not really where my deck is right now. All right. Let's just hope those were 2 outlier packs in a flood of mono white. And every pack just lets me play mono white, but we'll see. Turn to Brick is a really solid mono white card. Nintendo headquarters, not so much. Shooting Star could also be reasonable here. Let's see. Pianta Villager. I do like Turn to Brick a lot. This card is just very solid. And I don't really have any removal, so I think I am going to take it. And then hopefully, yeah, I'm probably going to... I guess if I do want to really stay mono white, both of these cards are fine, but I'd probably take Shooting Star. It's like a nice value white card, but Turn to Brick is really good. With Goomboss in my deck, if that Toad's House wheels, I think I would probably take it. I do have a fair number of enchantments that I will probably play. Yeah, Toad's House is an artifact specifically so that you can like turn on Architect alongside these like auras. All right, yeah, Mono White Dream is dead. There's not even a lot of green here. Iggy could be good. I wonder if I should be more going towards red, but I don't think so. I think I am going to try and stay green-white. Like, the fact this is still in the pack makes me think red is a little underdrafted. But Iggy Koopa is a strong card. Like, my deck is going to want to be pretty aggressive, so... I think Iggy Koopa, like the reason I made it hybrid is so that you can play it in like a green-white mid-range deck. I think it is pretty at home here. You can play it on turn 3. You can play it on turn 4 as just like spawning and then casting it. If you do want to get a little bit more aggressive before lands start entering tapped. But yeah, having a couple spawn cards in your deck is nice to smooth out the curve too. Just makes it so you're never really... Like you're spending all of your mana every turn for the first few turns in the game. All right, so I think the mono white dream is dead. If it wasn't, I would probably be taking Princess Peach over Super Crown. As is, I think Epic Confrontation might be the best card here. It's just like a nice removal spell that I don't really have very much removal right now. So I think it works really well with a lot of the mid-rangey cards that I have. Yeah, I don't really have, like, I'm not sure I'm going to have the critical mass of auras for Peach to be that good. Whereas I think I need the removal that Epic Confrontation provides. So yeah, we're definitely moving more towards a green-white deck, but I think that color pair is like relatively open. I'm getting some pretty powerful pickups here, so just efficient cards. So green-white is supposed to be a like an archetype. The mechanical thing for green-white is treasure tokens. So far, I don't really have that many cards that do produce treasures. So if I'm looking at green-white here, there's Mr. Eraser, Mecha Wiggler, and Hover Card. So Mecha Wiggler kind of attacks as a 4/4 trample each turn. If you can draw extra cards, he gets big, big, big. But my deck doesn't really do that, does it? Mr. Eraser is a 2/1 for 1, and I think that's probably where I want to end up. And it's going to have enough enchantments that some reasonable portion of the time I'm going to be able to get that value off Mr. Eraser. So, and then Hover Cart, I just don't think is where my deck wants to be. I think that 1-drop is where I want to be. With a 2-color deck, you can more reliably hit your 1-drops because you're not playing as many of these tapped lands. I would still like some sort of green-white land. Haven't seen any yet, I don't think. Yeah, cards like Mr. Eraser do also pump up all the glitters, which is kind of nice. It counts as an extra artifact. Yeah, same thing for Green Yoshi, being an enchantment, pumps up all the glitters. It's pretty nice. Even Womp does. I don't know, maybe Womp makes the deck. Probably not. Alright, this card's pretty sweet. Well, Poltergust is, I think, actually a pretty good card, and I usually don't really want it in my decks, but this deck is not so reliant on like any like having enchantments or auras or anything. I think this is the perfect deck for Poltergust. This just makes every creature of yours a like pretty viable threat. Alongside with cards like Goomboss, Poltergust can be really sweet. You just always have things going on, forcing your opponents to block with their creatures that they don't want to block with, and really good against Spook. I'm interested in trying this out. I think it's pretty strong, and I've got like some big creatures that can eat some mid-sized creatures from my opponents. Yeah. All right, cool. I like where this is going. I'm like very interested to try out this deck. Oof. I thought green-white was more open than this. Oh, I guess this is pack 8. It might just be not open at all. I mean, I might play Coin Coffer. It's a 2/2 for 2. Creates treasure tokens. Treasure tokens do pump up all the glitters. So like being able to have him count as an artifact for all the glitters and then make additional treasure tokens that can even continue to pump up a creature. That's like kind of interesting, but I don't think all the glitters is like the focal point of my deck or anything. I think this card is maybe okay. A 2/2 for 2 is also fine. Yeah. All right. So Hero's Calling is pretty interesting to me. I do have some creatures with super. I do have some auras. Green Koopa is just like a 3/2 for 2. Seems also pretty reasonable. I don't know that many of my creatures are minions though. I have a couple of spawn cards, and Coin Coffer's a minion. So Hero's Calling, like even if you miss, you get to draw a card. I I'm not sure that I have the right density in my deck for Heroes Calling to be good, of auras plus creatures with super. There are going to be a fair amount of times this just misses and costs me a mana to cycle it. Which is not, in an aggro deck, not necessarily what I want to be doing. I think I might take Green Koopa. I'll take Heroes Calling just in case. I think I'm somewhat likely to end up with Dr. Mario still. Alright, now these cards are a little bit... kind of all of these cards are more interesting than they were last time I looked at them. Big World could give me a good reason to play Coin Coffer. Because Coin Coffer can kind of ramp you towards that 7 mana. Big World is very spicy if you can get it down. But I don't know if in general I'm going to have any way to get up to the 7 mana with any sort of reasonable frequency. Magma Spray, that's a pretty good card. Like both of these cards are pretty reasonable. This Strength in Numbers can force through a lot of damage, and Goomba is just like a nice 1-drop. I have like 3 1-drops so far. I think. Right, it's Tuxie plus Mr. Eraser plus... Maybe that's it, actually. Maybe Goomba is the pick then. Just like a third 1-drop creature. I don't even know if I want to play Tuxie. Maybe more of a sideboard card. Man, Big World is so good if you can get it to work. But I'm not really in a rampy kind of deck. That's tough. I'm going to take Goomba. I'm going to take Goomba and just regret it forever. Here's the better Koopa. Well, I'll take Built to Last as the only card that I could reasonably play. Probably just not play it. It does make Mr. Eraser indestructible. Yeah, Goomba is just definitely going to make the deck, whereas Big World it was just like pretty likely not to. And I think I want this like in the deck. Huh. Well, probably not going to play Gobblegut. Just don't want to extend into third color, but it's a pretty solid card. I am usually very happy to pick this up if I'm in red. Kind of surprised to see it coming around so late. All right. Mono White Dream is officially dead. Brick and Mortar. I wonder if this makes the main deck. There's like a lot of artifacts and enchantments that are worth destroying in this set. So having a card in the main deck that can do it. I would have also liked to pick up that Hungry or Gourmet guy. All right. Probably won't play Poochie, but we'll see. Poochie actually can be a nice way to keep your like auras from getting blown out. What is Super Hammer doing in this deck? Super Hammer can actually have some nice like Mr. Eraser synergy. Bringing back Mr. Eraser for 1 mana each turn could be kind of cool. Could be a way to like really slow down an aggro opponent. Super Hammer bringing back Starship Mario again. Something pretty reasonable. I think Starship Mario is going to make the deck no matter what. I think this card is just like pretty powerful. And it's just, yeah, it's just a good card. All right. Well, almost done with pack 2, and we're going to be on to pack 3. I'm excited to try out Poltergust. I think this deck is going to make good use of it. Could just like gain control of some games. Wow. Professor Egad is really good. So I guess it's unlikely anybody is in 3-color Spook, because this card is, I think, a pretty high priority for 3-color Spook. It's very good in a Spook deck. Lets you destroy your own Spook creatures and draw a card off of it, and then also like cast them from exile. Still. All right. People are having some hard time picking these between the last 2 cards. Let me just refresh and make sure it's not my... It's something on... Sometimes you just have to refresh Plane Sculptors. Yeah, I think it was actually just something on my end. Oh, maybe not. Everyone else also hasn't picked. I'm gonna refresh again. All right, we're moving on to pack 3 now. Oof, yeah, we're having some lag issues here. Just refreshing the page is going slow. All right, there's my counter shot. This is a modified version of Remand. Very popular spell. All right, so there's that Princess Rosalina I was talking about being pretty good in this deck. Sound Frog is interesting. I think I will get Architect some amount of the time. I changed this from being a 4-2 to being a 5-2 with Lure, if you have Architect. 1-up's kind of interesting to me. Would have been more interesting if I had Shroom Grocery. Top Secret Area is something I might look to wheel. Prince Peasley is also pretty interesting to me. I do have a couple auras that will make him like fight very well. I think I'm in for Prince Peasley and see if we can't move a little bit more in the super direction. I'm like a little worried I don't have enough auras to support Peasley though, whereas I think Rosalina is probably going to be really sweet in this deck. But it might wheel as well. Shrink Lightning's interesting with auras, huh? Yeah, Princess Rosalina does some pretty cool things. She's like a Oblivion Ring or whatever. Yeah, Oblivion Ring for creatures, but she can do it multiple times. I think I'm not going to take Prince Peasley because it really needs aura support to make it work out. And I think Princess Rosalina is going to work out great in this deck. I'll hover over Princess Rosalina some more. Up to 1 target, the +1 is up to 1 target creature gains flying, lifelink, vigilance, and indestructible until end of turn. So a really good way of racing against other decks. And then -2 is exile target creature until Princess Rosalina leaves the battlefield. And -7, the ultimate, is you get an emblem with elementals you control have indestructible. Create 7 1/1 white elemental creature tokens with flying. So you get 7 1/1 flyers that are indestructible, which is pretty sweet. All right, what do we got here? All right, well, there's some fixing. I think I am interested in this fixing. I don't have any so far. There's really nothing else I'm that interested in. Wrong Castle is fine, but it's not really that good in an aggressive deck where your opponent might not be attacking you anyway. I think I do want this fixing, and I'm just not going to wheel anything good, which is unfortunate. Yeah, Master Cycle maybe is a card I could play. Master Cycle, I guess, powers up all the glitters. Yeah, it's cool to see these incidental artifact creatures just powering up all the glitters. This actually seems like a pretty good card in this deck. Just a lot of power and toughness for 2 mana. Hopefully. All right. So Troubling Season is a spawn token card. Mobbed by Fans is really not where I want to be. Toad Brigade I think is pretty sweet. This is 4 power and toughness for 4, and like if you can enchant it, it can be some pretty good value. Goombashu is also something I could consider. I do have a couple minions and minion generators in the deck. Toad Brigade also powers up this Hero's Calling a little bit. Yeah, Toad Brigade makes a 2/2 when it enters the battlefield, and it has super, and so if it dies while it's enchanted, it goes to the graveyard and comes back, and then makes another 2/2. So it's Toad Brigade because you can make an unlimited number of toads with it. It's pretty cool. It's the same token that Starship Mario produces. And let's see, are there any other cards that I have that produce that token? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Man, there was a time where I was going to live that mono white dream. I'm actually pretty excited for this though. I haven't really drafted green white, and this looks like a pretty classic green whitey deck. All right, I think Sandtrap's a pretty reasonable card. Just like does a lot of different things, and there aren't any other cards that I actually want to put in my deck. Maybe Mega Mushroom, I guess. Just like have some top end. Mega Mushroom is like a little bit sweet in this deck because I can put it on some creatures with super and not get quite as blown out by removal. Huh. I'm like a little bit interested in this Mega Mushroom. Huh. I'll just explore. I don't think that's really where I want to be either. I'm like kind of interested in this. I think I'm going to play it. Sand Trap's really good against some decks. I'm going to take this. I might not play it in my main deck, but it could be really good in the sideboard. All right. So Long is an okay card. Better with Trample, but it can be flexible, which is kind of where green-white wants to be. It can be on defense if it needs to be, and it can be on offense if it needs to be. And there's really just nothing else that I'd want to play. Pipe Frame is a vehicles card. I'm just not really in for that. I think like green-white seems like it was way more open the first pack. I don't know what's happening, but I'll take So Long and maybe play it. Destroy target blocking or blocked creature. All right. Let's see. I think my curve is doing okay. I've got a few 1-drops at this point, and I've got a Enter the Battlefield tapped Fixing Land. So there's 4, which is the green equivalent of Sand Trap. Cataquack is great though. Cataquack is artifact and enchantment removal that I can easily main deck and I like want to main deck. Unfortunately, I wish I hadn't taken Sand Trap now and had taken Mega Mushroom, because Cataquack is going to make Sand Trap a little bit unnecessary. So 3/3 for 2, kind of Watchdog stats, if you're familiar with Watchdog. When Cataquack deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. They're very aggressive stats. Oh, welcome back, Blurg81 here. Thank you for subbing for 4 months. I am live streaming this as I am playing against viewers, so all of this is happening live on Twitch right now, but I'm also recording for YouTube for those on Twitch who are unaware of what I'm doing. So yeah, Cataquack was a nice pickup here. Cataquack also powers up all the glitters. There's a lot of green-white artifact creatures. That's cool. Huh. All right, so Heroic Winds is kind of interesting. You can like load up one of your creatures with auras and then like cast this. I don't know that that's where I want to be. It could be a good sideboard card against like some go wide decks. My deck goes a little bit wide though. It's all right. So Heroic Winds is kind of interesting. You can like load up one of your creatures with auras and then like cast this. It's a little bit of a flexible card. I think I'm more for the like on curveness of Wiggler than I am for White Yoshi, but that might not be right. Yeah. All the glitters is supposed to be a good green-white card because of treasure tokens. All right, so I have a choice here between Troll Level, which is temporary removal. I changed the formatting of this. They used to have Fading. Now it's a Saga that does nothing on chapters 2, 3, and 4, which is kind of equivalent to Fading. Archivist Toadette I think is sweet, though. Races really well against aggressive decks, and just like is on curve, provides you some super value. I'm in for Archivist Toadette. I think I was like a little light on 2-drops anyway. I have like Coin Coffer, Poltergust, Justice Toad, and that's it. Oh, I guess I have Poochie, but some of those are not like the best 2-drops ever. And Cataquack. Yeah, maybe I was fine on 2-drops, but I don't really need to be playing Poochie. I also don't need to play Poltergust on turn 2. I can wait till a little bit later because its equip cost is 4 anyway. I might not be playing Coin Coffer either. Well, Mega Mole's just like a solid 4/4 for 4 that like also, you know, untaps a creature. Top Secret Area can be a pseudo scry. I think in this deck it's going to hit often enough that it is pretty good. Shrink Lightning is a good sideboard card versus minions. I don't have so many 1/1 creatures in my deck, so many minion generators that I think Shrink Lightning could be fine. It also, like, Shrink Lightning doesn't, like, shrink PD Piranha, or, like, if Wiggler has a +1/+1 counter. I don't know. There's some random value I can get off Shrink Lightning. I don't know if maybe I should be considering it for this deck, but it's not inherently, like, aggro promoting card. I think it's either Mega Mole if I need a 4-drop, or it's Top Secret Area if I don't. I do have a couple 4-drops already. I mean, Captain Toad and Super Hammer are in there. But maybe I want a 4-drop. Oh, I have Toad Brigade. Maybe I do want this 4-drop. I kind of want to have about 4 4-drops. I do have some other like 4-mana sinks, like Poltergust. Now let's grab the land. I think. Just having value lands is always nice. I think I'm gonna end up cutting cards from the deck, whereas I'm not gonna cut lands. Like this just takes the place of a forest, and it's just better than a forest. So, all right, that's right. I'm not getting anything back from these packs. Wrong Castle could be a sideboard card against like evasive vehicles decks and stuff. And then Drift. I don't think I'm going to want to play Drift. I'm just not going to be in Pursuit very often. I think Wrong Castle is the card that I'm going to take here. The wording on Super is, when this creature dies while enchanted, its owner returns it to the battlefield. So the creature dies, the enchantment dies, a trigger ability goes on the stack. Players can respond to that. Once that trigger ability resolves, the card goes from the graveyard back to the battlefield. That's how that works. Yeah, again, Mod by Fans giving my opponent a couple 0/1 blockers is not very good here, but I'm not really going to play any of these cards. Troubling Season, I don't make enough tokens in this deck that I'd want this. So maybe I'll cut Mob by Fans because it's does things against me. I don't know, kills my creatures. Yeah, Troubling Season, of course, a reference to Doubling Season. Yeah, again, not playing any of these. Could maybe splash Pow Block off Dinosaur Land against a couple types of decks. It's like not totally unreasonable. Not very likely to play Banana Peel. Like, Pow Block is very good against minion decks. It does kill a lot of my creatures, though. It doesn't kill Hungry Luma because it doesn't hit flyers. I wonder if I'm going to play Tanuki Suit. Tanuki Suit's kind of a weird one. Oh no! Alright. Hopefully everything is fine. Everything looks fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, I do have auras that can save my creatures from POW. Oh wait, what happened to my POW? I guess I didn't get... Wait. I picked a card, but it's not in my inventory. Didn't I take POW over Banana Peel? Huh. I could have sworn. Alright. Oh, there's POW. What? Oh. Alright, we're having... I'm just going to refresh again. Alright, well, I guess I took Banana Peel. That's fine. Don't really care about any of these. Let's take Wheelie. All right, almost done with the draft, and then, oh my god. I've never really seen this error before. I think maybe once. I wonder what's causing it. I wonder if it's something serious. Twister Trickery. That's actually kind of interesting to me. Twister Trickery, so like it flickers a card for the turn. It can actually remove a blocker. It can get me value, a lot of value with Starship Mario. That's actually really quite good. Captain Toad, it does not get me value. 3 balloons, it actually can give me a lot of value. Well, a fair amount. Goomboss, it gives me a 1/1, so that's not that great. Let's see. Is there anything else that it gives me something with? Princess Rosalina can like reset her counters. Toad Brigade, it gives me a 2/2. Archivist Toadette gives me a life. All right, so it's not that good. I think it's like really good with Starship Mario and not that great with most of the rest of my deck. So I think I'm not going to end up playing it. So here we are. I'm going to click sort by CMC, and we're going to take a look at all the cards I have. I'm going to start off by cutting all the cards that I just definitely don't think are going to make my deck. Cards that aren't even on color. I'm not going to play red, at least not in the main deck. I'm going to cut Sand Trap. I don't think I'm likely to play it given some of my other cards. Womp. Twister Trickery is out, as we just discussed. I'm going to cut Poochie. I'm pretty sure it's not making the main deck. Poltergust I am interested in. Coin Coffer might come out. We'll see in a minute. I think I'm going to also pull up Brick and Mortar. It sounds a lot like Rick and Morty. Wrong Castle comes out. I think I'm going to cut Tuxie. Might make it in against certain decks. Heroes Calling is an interesting one. I'm not sure what to think about Heroes Calling. Let's take a look real quick. So I'm going to cut Dinosaur Land out of here too. Not playing any red in the main deck. So we have 28 cards. I want to cut it down to 23. So I need to cut 5 cards from the main deck here. Let me just do a quick double check to make sure I got all the cards that I definitely want out. I might not want Iggy Koopa. Let's see, a 3/2 for 3 with Spawn. I think Iggy Koopa could be fine though. What is Super Hammer doing in this deck? A few of my creatures are just like instantly artifact creatures. Like getting that Cataquack could be fine. Or Coin Coffer, Mr. Eraser. If someone does like destroy Poltergust, that's fine. It also is a +2/+2 in Vigilance, which is nothing to sneeze at. I'm going to take So Long out. I don't think I want that. I'm a little heavy on 3 drops here, I think. So I'm probably going to cut 1. It's probably Wiggler. Yeah, I think it's Wiggler. And then I also probably need to cut something from down here. Maybe I cut Super Hammer though. Yeah, I don't think Super Hammer, like it's nice if I could return to Starship Mario, but Starship Mario is a little bit hard to kill off. I can have to like crew it and block something that's big enough to kill it. So it's like a little bit unlikely to happen even if I have both Super Hammer and Starship Mario out. So I think I am cutting Super Hammer, unfortunately. Like it was looking pretty good at the beginning, but I don't think it's quite going to get there. I'm interested in trying out 3 balloons and Trophy Ceremony, which I've never put in a deck before. But let's see. So what am I at? I'm at 27 minus 2, 25. So I need to cut 2 more cards. I think I need to cut them from down here. I think I am going to cut Coin Coffer, even though it's pretty good with all the glitters. I just don't think... Oh, maybe Shivarian Racer. I can cut Shivarian Racer. It like gets blocked by 1/1s. I mean, so does Mr. Eraser and Goomba, but at least they only cost 1 each. Tanuki Suit, I'm not really sure about. I kind of just have this in right now because I want to playtest it. I think it's maybe the weakest card in the deck, though. Well, I'm playtesting a couple other cards. Let's cut what I think is the weakest card in the deck. And then I think we have a 23 card deck here. Could maybe consider going up to 24 cards just because the curve isn't that high, but I don't think I want to. Especially there's some Mana Sinks in the deck, things like PD Piranha, things like Poltergust. So at this point, I need to add lands. So I have one land that has for both. This is kind of counts as a forest. So I have 17 land slots. So I basically have 16 land slots for monocolored lands. I think it's going to be a pretty even split here, green and white. I have some double pips, but they're kind of at the top, and then some double greens a little bit lower. Yeah, I think it's pretty even. So I'm going to go 8 and 8, which means I want 7 forests and 8 plains. And that will be my deck. All right, if you're interested in seeing how to export this to Plane Sculptors, make sure after you click on these basic land text boxes that you click off somewhere else on the page. Otherwise, I won't export right. Then you click Export Deck. Click somewhere on the page here, press Control-A to select all, and Control-C to copy. Then you go to Cockatrice, where you've installed the set already. And there'll be a link in the video description to how to install everything. You go to Deck Editor, the menu here, load deck from clipboard, and then it'll just copy it from your clipboard. If you want the basic lands that I designed, or that have the images that I, just ripped off the internet, you can put the word Mar in all caps before any of your basic lands. And that will import the deck. I have 40 cards, Control-S to save. This is draft 22, and that'll be it for this video. We'll see you in the next video for some actual gameplay. Again, if you do want to install this for yourself, there's that link in the description that has instructions for installing on Cockatrice, getting up and running on planesculptures.net to draft with your friends. There's also a link to the Discord if you want to find other people to draft with. And there have been some pretty regular drafts even while I'm not on stream. Yeah, I'll see you next video for some games. Thanks for watching.